Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 19. Episode 19 of A Good Life podcast, where we discuss music and beyond. My name is Jamila, and I'm your host, and I'm so happy that you have joined us. Don't forget to check out agoodlifeshop.com for all your Good Life merchandise. We have the Good Life tees. We also have the Music is My Religion tees, some mugs, and some other cute accessories. So go on over there and check us out, okay? So our guest today, I am such a fan of his, and I'm so excited to have him on. He is singer, songwriter. He plays every instrument known to man. He's just so talented. So we're just going to pause real quick, and we will be right back with our special guest, MoDre. Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our guest. And this brother, my God, he is a singer. He's a songwriter. He is a producer. He is a stellar musician. And he's probably about 1,000 other things that I haven't said.
You're too kind. You are too kind.
Hello, MoDre. Say hello to the people.
Hey, what's up, people? How are y'all? How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. When I met you, you had just moved to Atlanta, and you were coming here to kind of get on the music scene.
Yeah.
And, I remember having that first conversation with you, and I was like, wow, I'm really excited for you. And the next thing I know, I don't even think it was a couple of months later, everywhere I went, there you were on that stage, the hell out of that bass with your bass.
Oh my God. That's funny. You're right. That was so crazy. This city has been a blessing. The Atlanta music scene was so pivotal. I mean, because you were out there with like Masiki and like Abyss and those were the cats that that I was learning from. That was school. Apache and
Right.
a lot of those spots where it was going down. So yeah, I was just trying to be in the room, man. I was trying to be around all the guys that were doing it. And it was so cool to see you and to like tie that together. Because of how we met. It was like,
Right.
wait. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, I'll tell y'all this. Me and Dre, we met through family, right?
Yeah.
There was some exes involved and things like that. We ain't got to get into all
Hey, but it's still family and it's still love. You already know. Yeah.
all love. But anyway, we met in that environment. So, eventually, like I said, now he said he just wanted to come sit at the table, but he came in and he kicked the door down. Did. And I'm so proud of you. I really am.
Thank you. That really means a lot.
You're welcome. And so you're on the music scene. When I first came in contact with you in that setting, you were with the Band of Brothers, which is the band that you're still with. So let's talk about the Band of Brothers just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was. I think when we first started, when I got here, I've been here maybe a year, and ended up my mentor Jay Fly, who took me under his wing. He told me about this young kid. He was like, yo, I got this drummer. He's 15. He wants to go to Berklee, which is my alma mater. He was like, man, can you come, talk to him? Come hang out at this show. I'm having a show. I met the kid. Killing drummer. He double drummed with Jay Fly that night. The next day, this kid is sending me messages on Facebook. It's like, hey man, I'm in this band. You want to come meet these guys? We're gonna one day we're gonna get a record deal. We're gonna tour. We're gonna like play for everybody. And he was younger, and I was a little just trying to figure out what was going on. So I went and met him, and lo and behold, that was Slim and Sharad, which at the time we were a part of another situation called 630 Band, but that evolved into the Band of Brothers. As we went off and kind of did our own thing. And it was crazy, man. Like we were everything that, like, it was what we all needed. Like we had all come from, just really interesting life situations, like with our families, and I think even musically, we all grew up playing in church, but we all kind of felt like there was something else out there, and that just playing the service or playing whatever, we wanted to do something a little different. And it was crazy because the energy level that you've seen us perform, everybody, that was kind of a thing with us when we got together. I think the first show we played, we realized there was this fire that we all naturally had, and literally, like, you couldn't have put your finger on it. I mean, that was going on 11 years ago now, you know, and Jordan, like I said, he was 15, 16 when we first started. So yeah, we started out playing, doing like a day party called Loca Luna that used to be put on here in Atlanta. We did that every Sunday for like 3 years. And from that, we were able to play for everything. A little bit everybody used to come through there. Eric Roberson came through there. Algebra would come by, hang out. Cam Corvée, you know, just different homies. And then like from there, you know, you look into the audience and it was like Cedric the Entertainer or Drake or random people who were just in Atlanta at a party. And I don't know, we just got a reputation for being, you know, a high energy, you know, exciting young group of young men, young Black men. And we pivoted at that point, I think, into becoming a backing band, playing for, I think our first big gig was with Kevin Ross. We went on tour with Maxwell. So that once that happened and we got our first like real situation, man, granted, that was a humbling situation because we were in a van cross country. We was following Maxwell's big old buses and tractor trailers, and we in this 15-passenger church van, pulling a trailer. Wow. But it was those moments, man, that really kind of set us up and it humbled us. And it taught us the importance of brotherhood and building, you know, a team, learning to work together. And then, yeah, from there, I think it just, next thing I know, we were on a plane going to London, and then from London to Australia to back to the States, and it just happened. And then it was just a kind of a domino effect. And we all, you know, as a band began to tour a lot behind a lot of well-known artists and do a lot of TV shows and stuff. But then also individually, we all kind of started to build our own reputations and our own, you know, our own brands, but still within under the Band of Brothers, you know, umbrella, which is, you know, the brotherhood that we've built. So it's been a journey. Like you said, it went from, we was playing 6 nights a week in Atlanta at one point. It'd be like Apache on a Monday or a Wednesday. It'd be like Metro Fusion on a Wednesday, Cafe Circa on like a Sunday. And then it'd be like, I don't know, but it was crazy, man. And I think, you know, that really prepared us for everything that ended up kind of coming after. Just like, you know, just being hungry, you know, wanting to play music and loving what we were doing.
And I've seen you backed up so many people. Eva Kennedy. I mean, just so many.
Yeah, E, that's my sister.
Yeah. And just watching you guys on stage, it's just always such a joy. You know, all of you.
That means a lot.
But
we appreciate it. I think part of that was what we all grew up on. Like, we all grew up on really great music, and we grew up in a time when it wasn't like, as most of us are like late 80s, 90s kids, but our parents had us listening to Sly and Earth, Wind and Fire and Steely Dan and all these like amazing, that weren't just like musicians, they were like superheroes almost for like as a musician, because like these guys like Bootsy Collins, you know, they had their own personalities, and on stage Verdine was grooving and you saw his hair moving and you felt his body shaking. So those guys set the bar. So that's what we kind of, you know, molded ourselves after when we started to perform, and it just happened.
And, Jordan, you know, I know his daddy, so I know he was raised right.
You know it.
Yeah, I know your family, and I want to. Speaking of that, you grew up in a musical family, like quite a few. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so my grandmother, you know, we grew up in church. My grandmother kept us all in church. Her daughters, all my aunties, they were in a group, Williams sisters. So in like upstate, the tri-state area, upstate New York, like they'd be going up and down from Albany to Rochester, Buffalo, singing in churches and stuff like that when they were younger. And then whenever I came, I think I was about 9, because I was a little kid at church at 3 and 4, trying to get on the drum set, trying to play on everything. But my mom's youngest sister really kind of took me under her wing when I was about 9 or 10 years old. So she is, my Aunt Yvonne, really one of my biggest inspirations. She went to Berklee as well, Berklee College of Music, and she plays bass and keyboards and drums and all of that. So I literally, I remember being a kid sneaking in her room when she'd be at rehearsals, playing her drums, you know, messing with her keyboards and stuff, until eventually she came in and caught me, whooped my butt, but then told me, let me hear you. Let me see, you know. And, you know, she saw it. She saw the fire. And, you know, my grandmother always had an organ or something in her house. So it was like, it was all around. It was all around us. And then my mom and my aunt, like, as much as they might not have, like, done music, you know, my other aunts, they might not have done music as serious as my Aunt Yvonne. It was always music was everything. Like, because it was, whether we were cleaning up on a Saturday morning, music was playing. And that might have been like, you know, Barry White, Shaka Khan, Anita Baker, you know, anything that, you know, the black mama might be listening to on a Saturday morning cleaning up, you know. But then at the same time, you know, in the evenings, you know, while the Quiet Storm is playing, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and that's a whole nother vibe, you know, Johnny Gill and, you know, all of that stuff. But then my mom was also, and my aunts were also very, like, eclectic in the music that they listened to. So it was a lot of, like I said, a lot of Steely Dan, a lot of Sting, a lot of REO Speedwagon, Aerosmith. Like, so we heard everything growing up in the house. And then there was gospel music, which my grandmother and my aunts, you know, and me growing up playing in church, that was always around too. So I just don't remember a time when music wasn't fed to us, but it was a celebratory thing. It was like, it was always something new. It was a record, or it was a CD, or this new cassette tape, and it was like we wore them things out, you know, whether, you know, whatever it was.
And you can definitely hear those influences, not only in the way that you play, but let me tell y'all something. And now I knew he could play the hell out that bass, play keys. I knew he could play drums. But child, I found out he could sing when he found this record. I'm like, wait a minute.
I was sitting on it for a little minute.
He was sitting on it. He was hiding it from us, you guys. But Make Up Your Mind. It's so dope, right? And when you talk about Sly and things like that, I can hear those influences in there. And then there's, what's this new one? Karma. That's all over it. Prince all over it. I think I said that in you know, in the comment section. I was like, you know, Prince would be really proud of this. So
wow, thank you. That, from your heart to his ear to God's ears, God bless his soul, man. Mm-hmm. We you know, me and Lucy, yeah, that whole era was so much to us. Like, I swear I should have been born in the 70s. I already, like, it, like, I feel it in my spirit and my soul. I've always connected to that era and that time, you know, when music was just music, and it was, and it made you feel something, you know, and it made you want to dance. Nobody was in the club looking cool.
Right.
Everybody was vibing, you know, and then also there wasn't as many rules, you know. I think especially for somebody like Prince, he you know, he's become one of my, literally, I was so late to him. I didn't get on Prince probably till I was about 25. Okay. Like, I knew Kiss, Purple Rain. I hadn't seen Purple Rain until I was like 24, 25. And then I didn't get on the music until then. And then when it did, I went down a rabbit hole. And I think part of it was, and you can hear that with Karma, was just his ability. It was a feeling, man. That Minneapolis sound, and him being bold enough to play different instruments and try weird stuff. Like, I'm the biggest fan of that. I don't like rules when I'm creating. So, like, you know, watching so many videos and interviews and stuff, and just realizing he had his own persona. And then the music was just so damn funky. So that inspired a lot of what, you know, a lot of the music I create and the music we create on the Dia. I think the first record I released was Free.
Oh yes.
Yep.
It's beautiful too. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was I guess the kind of, because I can talk all day about this stuff because I'm excited. This whole process was a long time coming. I got about 11 years ago now, I moved here to Georgia, and I came for a different purpose. And in the midst of me coming for that purpose, I lost a lot of my inspiration, a lot of my drive to create. And I didn't make music for almost 10 years. I didn't make a beat. I didn't write a song. I wasn't, and to be honest, if I could be all the way honest, I didn't sing. I haven't sung since high school, since maybe like 2006. And even then, I never felt confident with my voice because I always felt like I I didn't like it. I didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't sound like, I couldn't riff and run like the rest of my friends who I knew. And I have like some weird quirky spots in my voice. So I just never felt confident. After 10 years of touring in 2018, I literally I decided that I needed to be free of everything that I knew. I wanted a new identity. I wanted to start over because I lost myself. And that's not to say I'm not proud of who I was being a touring musician, but it's like in that position that I was in as a, band leader or side guy dancing and singing background, you start to believe that well, first off, you're changing identities almost every other week, depending on the gig you're on. Because I was on the extremes. I'm doing pop shows at the Palladium, and then I'm doing Afrobeat records in Africa. You know what I mean? And like, so culturally, and then even just like musically, like I had to change hats. And then I'm playing piano for a girl from Canada. It was all great experiences, and I learned so much. But it brought me when I felt like I didn't know who I was. So I decided not to tour anymore. I went and bought this acoustic guitar that's over here on the floor, and I wrote Free. And the way that the lyrics came, it just felt so effortless. And I'm not saying that because I think that I'm this special thing, but like it was literally just like, it was like vomit, like something that was inside of me that like just kind of needed to come out. And so I did Free, and then after Free I did Faded Love. That's like my ode to like John Legend and D'Angelo, some of the, those crooner, soulful, I always wanted to play guitar, and I always wanted to like feel that feeling that they felt. Because when you saw, or even Raphael Sadiq, it's just something that hits your soul. And so yeah, I guess once I started writing more and just like diving into a lot more records, the songs just started coming. So then after Faded Love, I didn't put another record out until, that was in the summer of 2018. I didn't put another record out. I didn't put my EP out until January of 2020. And that was entitled Ready. And rightfully so, I just felt like it was time. I had been sitting on a lot of those songs for over a year, and we're coming up on a year. And Ready came out. But prior to Ready coming out in September last year, Faded Love, and another one of my records that wasn't even out yet, Waves, ended up getting synced with a movie called Always a Bridesmaid, which is on Netflix and BET now. You can stream and watch. And I think honestly that was the moment when I was like, oh, like it works. Like, because I didn't, even with Free and Faded Love out, I still didn't feel like it was something that I should be doing. I felt like a lot of my friends, I went through a period and phase where a lot of the artists and a lot of the people that I was working with, stopped following me on social media, stopped reaching out, because I'm not in that same world anymore. I'm not arranging your show, or I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not calling you for gigs anymore, musicians. I'm doing this. And so I learned a lot in that time. And, but the most important thing for me was I realized that I could do it, and that even if it was only 5 or 50 people, somebody might need to hear what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And so yeah, this music's literally it's changed my life in a way that I never imagined, because I never saw myself as an artist in that right, and I never like up front and like, whatever. And that's not even the bigger part of what I want. I think this is just a vehicle to get me where I'm trying to go for right now. But I'm glad to be on the ride, man. It's a crazy feeling, and I appreciate you for showing love on the songs, because you always like share and talk and say love, show love and stuff, and that means a lot to me.
Well, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan, and I'm going to tell you something. Like, as I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm trying to, keep my emotions down, because I can't believe that you did not think that you had a space, because your music is so moving to me. Like and I'm not bullshitting. The first time I heard Free, I cried. As you talk about real music and music without any rules and all of those things, like that's what I think about when I come when I listen to your stuff, and it always makes me feel so good. And I'm just like, what do you mean you don't, what do you mean you don't want to do this? This is your calling, sir.
Sometimes in life we get in our own way, man. We really
Absolutely.
do. We really, and it's usually to our, it's to our disadvantage. And then you look up years later and you're like, oh, I should have, why didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And, but also I think another side of that is just, this industry is it's hard, man. It's a very, to take, I've seen, it's like I was like, I saw too much, you know what I mean? And I was around too much, whether that was from a way of like so much greatness that I didn't feel worthy,
right?
Or at a point, I was really what it was. Cause like, even when I went to college, like I went to school for drums. And by the time a month into me being at Berklee, I was so intimidated by all the drummers there that I started playing bass, and I wasn't even a good bass player then. I was not good. I was decent. I was very decent. Mm-hmm. But it was one of those things where like for years I didn't play because I didn't think I was good enough. Yeah. And now years later I'm getting back to it. But it's just like, so that affected my life in a lot of ways, especially when it pertains to like I said, it pertains to this artist and singing thing. Like, you get intimidated in those ways. And then I think what happened, the switch went off when, and this goes along with what I said, where I know too much. I was around people of influence and power that, to be honest, I could do everything that they were doing.
Right.
And I remember being treated and being disrespected by certain, and this isn't like shade to any of the artists I work, because I work with some really dope, really cool, I had some cool artists that I've been fortunate enough to work with. But then there was also some that like you're in rooms and you're like, do you realize how grateful, how blessed you are to have this platform and to be in this space and to have this support from a major label and all this, everything that some of us would give our right toe to have, Right. And so, and I'm in these rooms and I'm making only a quarter, 10% of what this artist is probably making on these shows. And then I just saw a lot of lack of respect for the art, from a lot of people. And it's like, you seem like it's a privilege and an honor to carry a gift like music, or to draw, or to do videography, or whatever it is. It's a privilege. Everybody can't do these things. You know what I mean? And I don't say that to be heady. I say that to say, like, I realize, like, I'm a channel. Like, this music comes through me. It's not me. It's my life experiences summed up in one, a 33-minute song supposed to be sent out to the world to inspire people. So when you realize it's a responsibility, you can't just treat it like, oh, well, I guess I got to go to rehearsal today, or I guess I got to sing today, or I guess I got to, and yo, I'm telling you, when I mean, like, it just set me off, yo. And then also the other side of it was I got tired of not being treated the way that I felt like I should have been treated. Like, not saying I was treated bad the whole time, but I think for the work I was doing and the energy that I was putting into it, I was very nice to a lot of people and taken advantage of. And yo, it was just like, literally, God just smacked me in my face and was like, yo, all right, cool. Now it's time to do you. And it's time to love you. And it's time to trust what I put in you. And yo, and that's what's taking me to this place of like literally just creating from my soul. There's no preconceived notions for I have a plan in mind, but there's no preconceived notions for these records. I just want to make music that touches the soul because it comes from my soul, Yeah.
So any of you artists who were listening to this, I hope you really heard what he said just now, because these conversations go on often in artist circles, people feeling like they aren't worthy, people being treated in certain ways, and just know that there's space for you, right? I hope you guys got that message more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. There is. So you'd be surprised who's listening and who's watching and how it affects them. Like you said, I never imagined anybody would ever say that about anything that I've ever written. So thank you for what you said about Free, because to know that it reached you, man, it's powerful. So I'm grateful.
You have me dancing over here. You do it all. So
man, I try to give a little feel good.
Definitely do that.
Thank you.
So MoDre, please tell us where we can find you online.
I am at MoDre3 because MoDre was taken on Instagram. MoDre3. It's the same on Twitter. And then I am MoDre. IAMMODRE on Facebook.
Okay, and all of that will be scrolling across your screen if you're watching us on YouTube. And on any of the streaming platforms, it'll be down below in the description box.
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, all of that. You can find any of the records up there.
Yes, and make sure you go check those out too. And again, I'll put some links down in the description box. So I want to thank you, MoDre, for joining us. This conversation has been awesome. I really, really do appreciate you. Cannot wait when we can go back outside. I cannot wait.
Yes, I know, man. I miss it so much. I miss like hugs and like being around people. You know what I mean?
Me too. Me too. Me too.
Yeah, and then performing.
Yeah, same. I miss the stage, all of that. So I can't wait.
Yes. For sure.
All right. Thank you so much.
One destination in mind. Paying no attention to the time.